Hello everybody, and today we are going to make a pallet wood planter. Stick around. So when you think of pallet wood planter, you probably think of something like this. You take the regular pallets and you don't really make many changes. You put a bit of wood under here, and under here, add some soil and pack your plants in there. I want to do something a bit different, something a bit more creative and, I wouldn't say elegant, but something different, you know what I mean. So to begin with, we need some pallet wood. I've broken down a pallet already and I've got about 10 planks here, and it's the cheapest, nastiest pallet wood I could find. It's all bent and twisted with lots of live edges because it came from the insides of a tree. That's perfect for stuff like this. It doesn't need to be nice, it doesn't need to be beautiful, it's designed to be cheap and cheerful. Make sure you get one with the HT marking to say it's been heat treated, otherwise you run the risk of having chemicals contaminate your plants. And also it's a good idea to make sure there's no paint or oil spilled on the pallet as well. I'm going to break these boards down into 60cm pieces, which is going to make the sides of each trough. I'm making a vertical planter with big trough on the bottom, smaller trough in the middle, and a narrower trough at the top. If I made them the full length for the pallet boards, 1m20, there's a risk of it twisting and bending in the wind, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to cut the pieces up and speed through it because I'm sure you've seen it all before. So the next thing I'm going to do is partially assemble each trough, and this is the top one, so I can measure out the end pieces, which I'll screw onto the end. Just take another piece of pallet wood board and mark it out with a pencil. You don't need to be super accurate for anything like this. As you can see, this is quite a nasty piece of wood there with live edges on it. That's my cat wanting food. So just mark it off and cut it. Now this is the top trough, which has one baseboard. The one in the middle will have 2 baseboards, and the one at the bottom will have 3. As for screws, I'm using these chipboard screws. In theory, they are less likely to cause wood to split. In practice, well, it's cheap pallet wood, so who knows what will happen, but we'll give them a try anyway. So now I'm going to start to assemble the troughs. I'm starting with the top one first. I'm just going to screw the sides on first of all. Yeah, this extension piece is doing more harm than good, so I'll get rid of it. Just going to speed through again because, yeah, it's probably not the most interesting thing to look at. And you probably don't be looking at my back. So now to move on to the end pieces. I'm actually going to drill pilot holes first because, yes, the screws did split the wood. But then at the end of the day, this is the cheapest, nastiest wood available. That's what they use for pallets. They use the term whitewood, which is basically a generic term for pine, spruce, and Lord knows what other low-grade softwoods they can get their hands on for next to nothing. At the end, most pallets at the end of the day are only designed to be used once and then disposed of, so they're not going to spend a large sum of money on getting the wood and making them nice. So jumping ahead, here's the troughs finished. The big one is at the bottom, the 2-panel one goes in the middle, and the 1-panel one sits at the top. Notice the gaps in there, that's deliberate so that water can drain out. Suppose I should talk about the elephant in the room now as I start to assemble the upright piece. Well, the upright piece is I'm just going to screw in a piece of pallet board as the piece that holds all the troughs together. It's simple enough, just screw it in place. I'm doing a few pilot holes first. Yeah, back to the elephant in the room, talking about durability and rotting. Like I said, pallet wood is cheap and nasty. You will probably get 3, maybe 5 years out of this before it starts to rot and fall apart. Given that you're spending next to nothing on it, is that all that bad? And this is the sort of pallet wood that you're not really going to be able to do much else with. It's such low quality stuff that putting it through the planer or the jointer to try and make it nice, you'd have no wood left. So yeah, I wouldn't even use preservatives either, because that would probably contaminate your soil and your plants. So here it is assembled. I think it looks pretty decent. It's kind of hipsterish. So the next thing to do is throw in some soil. I'm going to be planting lettuce and chives, and you only need 2 or 3 inches of soil in there. I'm just using generic compost. You don't need anything fancy for this. Some people would put down a liner in each trough. I don't think there's any need to do that. Like, if anything, I want water to drain through. I'd rather water the compost more often rather than have it locked in using a liner, because that's more likely to cause the wood to rot. So here's what I'm planting. Regular lettuce in the middle, chives up top, and I seem to have missed off the bottom one, but that's a baby leaf lettuce. So I'm just going to spread out the seeds. Chives up top. Yep. And finish off with a thin layer of soil on top. Give it a bit of water, not too much, just enough to make it a bit moist. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Your hipsterish vertical planter. Cheap and nasty, but it does the job. Thanks for watching.